Hello everyone, today we'll be looking at REMS of the foot and ankle. REMS stands for Regional Examination of the Musculoskeletal System, and today we'll be looking at the foot and ankle region. So like any other REMS, you are going to do in the sequence of look, feel, move, functional test. And okay, this document is made by Arthritis Research UK. It's a very useful document for medical students who want to learn how to do physical examination of the musculoskeletal system, and I'll put a link to it in the description below. So then I'm going to read through what it says first and try to interpret it, and then after that I'm gonna try and summarize in a way that's easier to remember. So if you want to skip to the summary, I'll put the time point on the description below as well. Okay, let's get started. So examination of the foot and ankle. Look, with the patient sitting on the couch, their feet overhanging the end of it. Observe the feet, comparing one with the other for symmetry. So he's sitting at the end of the couch, legs hanging down, observe the feet. Look specifically at the forefoot for nail changes or skin rashes, such as psoriasis. Look for alignment of the toes and evidence of hallux valgus of the big toe. Look for clawing of the toes, joint swelling, and callus formation. If there is clawing of the toes, calluses above and below the metatarsal phalangeal joints, pain and restriction of movement, then there is likely to be subluxation of the metatarsal phalangeal joints, MTP. Look at the underside of the plantar. Look at the underside or plantar surface for callus formation. Look at the patient's footwear, check for abnormal or asymmetrical wearing of the sole or upper for evidence of poor fit or the presence of special insoles. So basically, ask the patient to sit at the end of the couch and try and look for all these things, and look under their feet as well, and look at their shoes. Look at the soles. Sole or upper? What is the upper of a shoe? Oh, so this is the upper of the shoe. So look at the sole and the upper of the shoe. Asymmetrical wearing. Right. And insoles are things you put in your shoes to fit your leg better. And some people need medical insoles, so that might indicate some foot problem that they have. Okay, next with the patient weight bearing. Look again at the forefoot for toe alignment. Look at the midfoot for foot arc position. A drooped arc in a normal subject should resolve when standing on tiptoes. Okay, from behind, look at the hind foot for Achilles tendon thickening or swelling. Okay, look for normal alignment of the hind foot. Normal alignment of the hind foot. Disease of the ankle or subtalar joint may lead to a varus or valgus deformity. So look for varus or valgus deformity of the hind foot. Let's look at figure 18. Figure 18 is here. So this is the normal alignment, varus alignment, and valgus alignment. So valgus, the knees are glued together. VALG, GUS. So G for glue, G for valgus as well. Right. Assess the temperature. Okay, now we're going on to feel. In feel, we assess for the temperature over the forefoot, midfoot, and ankle. Check for the presence of a peripheral pulse. Forefoot, midfoot, and ankle. Forefoot and midfoot. Let's see where's the difference. Oops. Right. Forefoot, midfoot. Okay. Ankle, you know what it is. Okay, check for peripheral pulse. So peripheral pulses of the foot, you have two that you typically look for, the dorsalis pedis and also the posterior tibialis. So dorsalis pedis is somewhere here, just lateral to the ligament of your big toe, and posterior tibialis is just behind and slightly inferior to your medial malleolus. Okay. Gently squeeze across the MTP joints, watching the patient's face for signs of discomfort. So tenderness across the MTP joints. Palpate the midfoot, the ankle, and subtalar joints for tenderness. So after that, the midfoot, ankle, and subtalar joints. So subtalar joints are so this is your talus, and subtalar joints are here. So you palpate the ankles, you'll be assessing the subtalar joints for tenderness. Okay. So look, you're gonna ask the patient to sit on the couch. I think it's better if we do everything where the patient is weight bearing first. So here, we're gonna do this first. Ask them to stand, and then we're gonna look at their foot arc and their toe alignment and things like that. Then from behind, look for the Achilles tendon thickening or swelling, and also the valgus and varus deformity. Then after that, ask them to sit on the couch, hang their legs overhanging the couch, and then you're gonna compare for symmetry, look for nail changes, alignment of toes, clawing of toes, calluses, any calluses on the plantar surface as well. So plantar surface is at the bottom of your foot, below your feet, and look at the patient's footwear. Yeah, so if their legs are overhanging the couch, they would have taken off their shoes, right? They should take off their shoes for this examination anyway. So first ask them to take off their shoes, then ask them to stand, and then ask them to sit overhanging the couch. And then after that, feel. While their feet are overhanging the couch, you can do all the feel things. So while they are lying on the couch, it's more suitable. So assess the temperature over the forefoot, midfoot, ankle. Check for presence of peripheral pulse. Gently squeeze across the MTP joints. Palpate the midfoot, ankle, and subtalar joints for tenderness. Okay, now we're done. Look and feel, move, assess, both actively and passively, movements of inversion and eversion at the subtalar joint plus dorsal and plantar flexion of the big toe and ankle joint. So inversion is the foot is rotating inwards. Maybe I can describe better with a picture. So this is inversion. So this is the big toe. This is the medial part of the foot. This is the lateral part of the foot. So inversion is turning towards the medial part. Oh, you can see a real picture here. It's easier. So inversion is inwards. Eversion is outwards. Inversion is both feet facing each other. Eversion is both feet facing out. So you can remember inversion inside. The soles facing inside. Okay. So active and passive movement of inversion, eversion, and dorsiflexion and plantar flexion. So here's a picture. Dorsiflexion is pulling your feet, your toes towards yourself, and plantar flexion is away, pushing it away. Right. Movement of the mid-tarsal joints can also be performed by fixing the heel with one hand, with the other hand passively inverting and everting the foot. So let's see where's the mid-tarsal joint. Mid-tarsal joint is here. Okay. So you hold the heel with one hand and then you try and rotate this part, inverting and everting to assess the movement of the mid-tarsal joints. Okay, just now it was inversion and eversion of the ankle joints, so at the subtalar joint, and now it's at the mid-tarsal joint. Yes. Oh, that's all for move. So inversion, eversion, dorsiflexion and plantar flexion of the subtalar joint, and then big toe as well, dorsiflexion and plantar flexion of the ankle joint and also the big toe. Okay, and also the mid-tarsal joints can be performed. Movement of the mid-tarsal joint, inversion and eversion of the mid-tarsal joint. So you hold the ankle here and invert and evert the foot here. Right. Then lastly, functional tests. If not already done, assess the patient's gait, watching for the normal cycle of heel strike, stance and toe off. Okay, I will do this in the very beginning for two main reasons. Firstly, you don't want the patient to be standing and sitting and standing again so many times. And secondly, because from the gait you can get an overall picture of how badly their musculoskeletal system is affected. So you get a lot through observing their gait. So you do it first. So I will rearrange this in a way, so gait first, and then the ones where the patient is weight bearing first, and then ask them to put their legs overhanging the couch, and then ask them to lie down, and then do feel and move. Okay, so I'm going to try and summarize everything now. So REMS of the foot and ankle, look, feel, move, functional tests. But in this case, we will do functional tests first, then look, feel, move. Okay, because functional tests you do while the patient is standing. You don't want them to sit and stand so many times. So functional tests, ask the patient to walk and observe their gait, especially their foot for their heel strike, stance and toe off phases of their gait cycle. Right. And then we're gonna look at the patient while they are still weight bearing first. so they are still standing. Look for toe alignment. Look for the normal midfoot arc. So some people have a flat foot, but yeah, look for the arc. And then if those people are normal and they seem to have a flat foot, you can ask them to stand on their tiptoes, and then you see the arc appear. Right. And then from behind, look for Achilles tendon thickening and look for normal alignment of the hind foot. So valgus and varus deformity of the hind foot. Right. Next, you're gonna ask them to sit on the couch and then hang their legs over the couch, and then observe, comparing each for symmetry, and then look for nail changes or skin rashes, and then look for alignment of the toes again, and calluses, which might indicate subluxation of the metatarsal phalangeal joints. Look under the feet for callus formation on the plantar surface, and look at their shoes, on their soles and also on their uppers for evidence of poor fit or the presence of special insoles. Okay. Right. So after look, you're gonna feel, assess for the temperature over the foot, midfoot, and ankle. Then check for the presence of a peripheral pulse, so the dorsalis pedis and also the posterior tibialis pulses, temperature pulses, and then tenderness across the MTP joints and tenderness across the ankle, midfoot, and subtalar joints. Right. And then move. So assess the inversion and eversion and plantar flexion and dorsiflexion of the ankle joint, and then plantar flexion and dorsiflexion of the ankle joint and the big toe, and also inversion and eversion of the subtalar joint. So the ankle joint is not the one responsible for inversion and eversion, is actually the subtalar joint here. And then after that, you're gonna fix the heel and then check for inversion and eversion at the mid-tarsal joint. Am I right? Yes. So this is only passively, but this is both active and passive. Right. And lastly, functional tests. Functional tests we have already done. Okay, let's just go through this again. So first, functional tests. So usually we do in the sequence of look, feel, move, and functional tests, but this time we're gonna do functional tests, look, feel, move. Okay. So first, ask them to walk, observe their gait, especially on their feet for the stances, the heel, strike, stance, and toe off phases of the gait. Then look while the patient is still weight bearing. Look at the toe alignment, look at the arc. Ask them to tiptoe if you see a flat foot, see if the arc appears. And then from behind, look for Achilles tendon thickening and also valgus and varus deformity. Then ask the patient to sit on the couch, legs overhanging from the edge of the couch. Then look for symmetry, look for rashes, look for any deformities, any calluses on the upper or lower surfaces, and then look at their shoes, at the soles and also the shoe uppers. Right. Next, we're gonna feel. We're gonna feel for temperature over the forefoot, midfoot, and ankle, and then feel for pulses, dorsalis pedis, and also posterior tibialis, and then tenderness across the MTP joints, tenderness across the midfoot, ankle, and subtalar joints. And then moving on to move, we assess both actively and passively, inversion, eversion of the subtalar joint, dorsiflexion, plantar flexion of the ankle joint, and also the big toe. And then we're gonna assess passively by fixing the heel with one hand, the inversion and eversion of the mid-tarsal joint. And that's all. Thank you for watching.